In this video, we'll overview some popular strategies for crash games to help you improve your chances of success. Welcome and stay tuned to CasinoRank. Low-risk multiplier strategy. This strategy is all about steady gains by recognizing game patterns. It works best for beginners or risk-averse players who prefer predictable, smaller profits, especially in high volatility games. About 70% of players find moderate success with average win rates of 60 to 75%. Common mistakes include failing to cash out early enough, letting impatience or greed lead to losses. To implement, place a small bet and cash out at a multiplier of 1.5 sacks or lower. For example, bet $2 and exit early. Consistency is key. High-risk, high-reward strategy. Aimed at players comfortable with uncertainty, this strategy seeks big wins despite frequent small losses. It's ideal for experienced players targeting long winning streaks or high multipliers. Win rates vary widely between 15 and 40%, but the rewards can be substantial. Mistakes include holding out too long or overestimating one's ability to predict outcomes. To use, place a $5 bet and aim for a 4x multiplier or higher while closely monitoring game patterns. Adapt as needed based on observed trends. Progressive betting strategy. This strategy involves increasing bets after losses, focusing on patience and bankroll management. It's best used to recover from consecutive losses, particularly when the game environment is stable. About 50% of players find success, but discipline is essential. A common mistake is betting too aggressively without considering bankroll limits. Start with $1 and double after each loss, $1, $2, $4, and so on. Resetting after a win, set strict limits to avoid escalating losses. Pattern recognition strategy. This approach relies on observing game rounds to identify patterns that may indicate favorable conditions. It's suitable for players who prefer a more analytical approach. However, it probably takes a huge qualification. Around 60% report success using this method, but over-reliance on perceived patterns can lead to losses. Watch rounds without betting and enter only when the trend appears consistent. Cash out early to secure profits. Martingale Strategy, a classic high-risk strategy where players double their bet after each loss, aiming to recover losses with one win. It's best for players with a large bankroll who can withstand several losses. The win rate is unpredictable, but it's often effective in the short term. The biggest mistake is running out of funds during a losing streak. Start small, doubling each time you lose, but set strict limits to avoid significant financial loss. Anti-Martingale Strategy. Opposite to the Martingale approach, this strategy increases bets after wins instead of losses, aiming to capitalize on winning streaks. It's ideal for players seeking to maximize gains while controlling risk. Success rates range from 50 to 65%. A common mistake is failing to quit while ahead. Start with $5, double after each win, and stop after a set number of wins to secure gains. Discipline is key. High-stakes, low multiplier strategy. This strategy involves placing large bets and cashing out at low multipliers to achieve consistent small profits. It's best for players who prefer smaller but more frequent wins, with success rates of 75%. Greed can be a pitfall, leading players to hold out for higher multipliers, which defeats the purpose of this strategy. To use, place a high bet, such as 1.2x or 1.3x. Cluster betting strategy. In this strategy, players place multiple smaller bets in the same round to spread risk. It's useful during periods of high volatility and suits those with a diverse risk appetite. Around 40% of players use this approach, with 50–60% reporting success. A common mistake is placing too many bets without managing funds effectively. To implement, place several small bets, for instance $1 each, and cash out at different multipliers based on trends. Careful budgeting is crucial. Stop-and-go strategy. This strategy alternates between betting and pausing, helping players control their game environment. It's effective for reducing losses in volatile sessions and is used by about 20% of players, with success rates around 60% per participant. Mistakes include misjudging when to resume betting, missing opportunities, or betting during downturns. To use, bet a moderate amount, stop after a win, and observe several rounds before betting again. This strategy requires patience and careful observation. Auto-Cashout Strategy. This strategy involves setting an automatic cash-out multiplier before placing a bet, ensuring that the bet is cashed out at a predetermined point. It's ideal for players who want to remove emotions from the decision-making process and ensure consistent exits. Success rates depend on setting realistic cash-out points based on game volatility. A common mistake is setting the cash-out multiplier too high, leading to missed opportunities. To use, decide on a cash-out multiplier like 1.8x or 2.0x. Place your bet and let the auto-cash-out feature handle the rest. This helps maintain discipline and reduces the risk of holding out too long. Historical Multiplier Observation Strategy. This strategy involves reviewing the historical multipliers of previous game rounds to predict favorable conditions for betting. It is suitable for players who are comfortable analyzing past data to make informed decisions. Based on the data provided, around 55% of players achieve success with this method. However, one major mistake is putting too much trust in historical outcomes, potentially leading to flawed predictions. To implement this strategy effectively, analyze the multiplier history for patterns and make conservative bets with predetermined cash-out points to manage risk. Reverse engineering game code strategy. A highly analytical approach where players attempt to understand the underlying game code to predict outcomes more accurately. This strategy requires deep technical knowledge. Less than 5% of players use this strategy, as it requires specialized knowledge. Success rates can be high if the analysis is accurate, but it is very situational. Attempting to reverse engineer without the proper skills can lead to incorrect conclusions and significant losses. It is also important to ensure that this practice is within legal and ethical boundaries. To implement, analyze the game's algorithm, look for predictable patterns, and bet when the analysis indicates favorable outcomes. This strategy demands caution and should only be attempted by those with the necessary expertise. We covered Crash Games betting strategies, from low risk to high risk. Each strategy has pros and cons, and some require technical expertise. Choose a strategy based on your risk tolerance, bankroll, and experience. Remember, no strategy is foolproof. Discipline is key. Play responsibly.
Oh, there's another thing. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Visit our website for demo plays, casino rankings, game and provider reviews, fresh bonus info, comprehensive guides and tutorials. Let us know in the comments if there's a topic you'd like us to explore, and we'll make sure to provide useful insights